It is the next morning, and you know there's something I gotta share with you. Came downstairs this morning and I thought I'll just check out these holes and make sure that they're still the same depth. To my surprise, they weren't. That CA glue was not a good idea. It didn't actually soak in the way I thought it would, and it did exactly what I hoped it wouldn't. It formed sort of a little plastic plug in the bottom of the holes. Well, I've already re-drilled out all the holes, except apparently one that I missed, so I had to go back and re-drill that one. But you're going to see from the shavings, or at least the plastic that comes out of there, the CA glue was not a good idea. Anyway, that's the way it goes. You win some, you lose some. Okay, I've double checked each one of these screws now to make sure that none of them are extra long, and I've also checking now to make sure that the holes that I've got are deep enough. I've triple checked to make sure that each hole is actually deep enough. I think we're actually ready to start putting these screws in place here. And where is my index mark? Can't find it again. There it is. Okay, so it's going to go like that. Okay, my plan is to put them in almost all the way with the electric drill and then tighten them by hand. That way there's little chance of stripping them out. Now you're going to notice that the heads on some of these screws are chewed up, like this one. And anyway, what's happened is some of these screws I've actually used 2, maybe 3 times. What would happen is whenever I wanted to throw something out that I'd use these screws on, I'd save the screws. Anyway, I've had them for a long time. Another thing that's kind of amusing is that you'll see one's missing. Well, what happened is, apparently, I only made 11. Yeah. How did I do that? Guess I can't count anymore. You know, I couldn't believe that I only made 11, so I went back and I looked at the video where I thought I was making the 12th one. Yep, I only see 11 there, 10 on the workbench and 1 in my hand. Okay, what you're going to see here is actually going to be my first attempt to get this on. And that's it. Now will it turn all the way around? Uh-oh. Well, I've got a plan. Almost makes it. Underneath here is a nut somewhere. And if I loosen it, I can tip this up a bit. Not very much apparently. Here we go. I think you see what I'm trying to do here. I try and wedge this up. And that way, it'll clear. And I can very carefully turn the high side down here and then take this wedge back out. I'm going to have a wedge exactly the same thickness on the other side there, so I guess I'll have to cut this in half. Anyway, not very professional, but I think it's going to work. You know, I'm wondering if, because there is so little needed, I wonder if a couple of washers would do the trick here. Let's try that. Yeah. Now, one thing for sure is that I'm not going to be polishing any pens, so I don't need speed here. I need the torque. Usually this goes really well whenever the camera's not on. I think I got it now. Looks good. Tighten it down. Okay, there's the speed control here. Make sure I've got it turned down a bit so it's not going to turn too fast here, and get ready to stop it if something goes wrong. But I think it's going to be okay. I did tighten the lever in the back, by the way, so this shouldn't rattle, but you never know. This is going to be the first time. So what do we got there? 370 RPM or so. I'm surprised it's fairly stable. Now I am noticing that this last ring that I glued on, I didn't get it quite, I guess you'd say, concentric. A bit of a wobble in this last one, but you know, I guess I'm going to be turning a lot of this away anyway. It's kind of disappointing I didn't do a better job. Okay, you should recall there was going to be possible problems with the tool rest not being able to get around to at least halfway the thickness of this thing. Oh my. That's going to be an issue. Wonder if I can take this and bring it in from the back. Because obviously, when I'm turning right here, I'll move the camera so you can see the problem. Okay, this is as far out as the banjo will come. And I don't know. Let's grab something here. Do I dare try with that much distance? I like to usually have the tool rest as close as possible. Maybe once I turn this down just a little, I want to keep this ring though as large as possible. Well, maybe if I'm very careful, it won't catch and flip up, if you know what I mean. Now, the plan for turning the bottom of the ball, it originally was that I was going to, after I get a lip on here, or actually to be on the inside, I was going to use the jumbo jaws in the combination with maybe some sort of a jam chuck. Then I could turn the bottom here. But that's a long ways from right now. Well, I'm going to have to think about this. You know, I was walking away with my camera just now and I was going to go upstairs and do some editing, and I was looking back at this and I thought, wait a minute, what would happen if I did this? Once again, I haven't tried it, so you're going to see it with me for the first time. Well, look at that. That should work. I know it's not perfect, but it's a lot closer. Well, a quarter of an inch closer. At least it's more square. I think that'll work. Yeah, that should work all right. Okay. Now I'm going to go upstairs and do some editing. Normally I would have my dust collector hooked up here, but there's really not any easy way I can do it. So I'm just going to see what happens here. I want to try and get rid of this sharp edge first. I'm going to have to take it down anyway, so may as well get rid of it. Less chance of me hurting myself on it. It is actually quite sharp. So, here we go. It is very important that you remember that these workshop videos of mine are not tutorials. They are filled with mistakes. They are filled with, let's try this, let's try that. Well, that didn't work. Now what are we going to do? Yeah, like I say, they're not tutorials. It's as though you were in the workshop with me, watching me have fun. And surprisingly, I've managed to keep all my fingers. Now, before I find that I'm getting myself just overly exuberant here with my tools, I think I better try and rig up some sort of very large face plate for this end, and then I can bring the tailstock up against it and just give a little added support here. Okay, I may as well pull up a chair here and be comfortable because this is going to be a long, long process.